2. Well, today is the 14th of January, year of our Lord 2023, depending on which calendar you want to look at. So as I go through and do my research every day, there's a lot of references get made. I'll talk to people, and Durham is back in the news. There is a guy named Patel Patriot who has done a huge amount of work around this. He's part of the started Badlands Media Group. Can't give those guys enough credit. MrTruthBomb, you'll see who he is here in a minute. He'll give his own intro. And this is a recap of a much larger set of information which Patel Patriot has put together. And MrTruthBomb here is an excellent recapper of things. So please support Badlands Media and Patel Patriot. As MrTruthBomb will tell you, he doesn't want your money. So we did this with devolution. I tried to go through the second part of the devolution series. Like, you couldn't do it. It's too much fear porn. So this is Durham. We'll give this a shot. This is in the news right now. Brandy, you got anything you want to throw in?
Not at this time, except welcome, everyone.
We have one whole viewer. So excellent. Okay, let's hit it. Durham.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
So, who is John Durham? During the Trump administration, then Attorney General William Barr appointed Durham to investigate the origins of the FBI's Trump-Russia probe. John Durham has been a special prosecutor for almost a year and a half. Not a long time, but what is happening now in the United States is all about timing. Some people see in Special Prosecutor John Durham's February 11th filing in the case of former Perkins Coie lawyer Michael Sussman the beginnings of a case which will take down the deep state cabal, including elements of the United States intelligence community, Obama White House actors, and private contractors who conspired against Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and then engaged in a continuous soft coup to take out the 45th President of the United States. Kash Patel, the lead investigator for the House Intelligence Committee, when it examined Russiagate and the conspiracy against Trump, is one of those people.
Look, to piggyback off what Devin was saying, American people want accountability. It's why he went to Congress and led the charge as House Intel Chair. But what everybody forgets is that our investigation led to the firing of 17 FBI agents and DOJ officials. That's the first step of accountability. Our investigation led to John Durham being appointed special counsel. Now, as a former terrorism prosecutor, I worked on indictments that took 2, 3, 4 years to dismantle some of the largest terror networks in the world. John Durham is working on the largest criminal conspiracy in U.S. history. It makes Watergate look like a parking citation. So and he's working with like 5 people. And as Devin said, there's no leaks. So you got to give him a little time, but you guys got to go out there and read his pleadings. You don't issue 40, 50-page pleadings for charges for lying to federal officials. Those are 3, 4, 5-page indictments. He's educating the public the only way he can without leaking, lawfully in federal court. And what does the fake news media do again? Hillary Clinton puts out a statement. She doesn't deny it because they know the money doesn't lie. Her campaign doesn't deny it. The questions that you guys need to be asking of John Durham that he has answers for, I believe, is who in the Hillary Clinton campaign orchestrated this effort? Are we to believe that tens of millions of dollars were spent and they had no idea? The current National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, Jake Sullivan, who was then the senior advisor to Hillary Clinton, didn't know what was going on. We interrogated him under oath. Michael Sussman is under indictment because of our interrogation 4 years ago under oath. So these are questions that you guys have the answers, that you guys need the answers to, but I firmly believe John Durham has put it in federal pleadings because he already has the answers. He's put 24 people before a grand jury.
Durham is not only exposing the deep state, but he is illuminating the raw false propaganda disseminated by a compliant media at an intensity not seen before in history, aimed at total control of public opinion. This same fake news media are again coordinating in the effort to mobilize public opinion favorably toward both the failing Biden administration and toward war with Russia. During the recent V-Day commemorations and parade in Moscow, the man the Western media are trying to promote as an evil monster, Vladimir Putin, acknowledged, honored, and remembered the fallen Americans who fought in World War II, as well as condemning the Western millennials who are destroying society with their lack of morals, values, and traditions.
The United States of America, especially after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, started to talk about their exclusivity. Thus, they were humiliating not only the entire world, but also their satellites, who had to pretend that they do not notice anything. They had to swallow it all. But we are not the same. Russia has a different character. We will never renounce from our love to our motherland, from our faith, from traditional values, from the customs of our ancestors, from the respect to all nations and cultures. And in the West, these millennial values, they decided to cancel. This moral degradation has become the foundation of cynical falsification of the history of World War II. Russophobia, praising traitors, tormenting the memory of the victims, crossing out the sufferings of those who fought for the victory. We know that the American veterans who wanted to come to the parade to Moscow were basically prohibited from doing so. But I want them to know we are proud of your exploits and of your heroic deeds, of your contribution to the victory. We honor all the soldiers of the Allied armies, American, Frenchmen, Englishmen, participants of the resistance movement, soldiers and partisans of China, everyone who crushed Nazism and militarism.
Remember, Durham was authorized by Trump's Attorney General William Barr as a special counsel, which gives him an unlimited scope. John Durham is now working under the auspices of Joe Biden's Justice Department, which will be interesting as Biden was the number 2 official in an administration that spied on a presidential campaign, and then Trump's transition team. He even offered advice on how to frame President Trump's National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn. Currently, Durham has 2 active prosecutions that are ongoing as part of his probe into the origins of the fake Trump-Russia collusion narrative. He recently dropped new smoking gun evidence in the form of text messages that shows how the Hillary Clinton campaign lied to the FBI in order to create the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. Durham's latest court filings reveals he intends to prove that Hillary Clinton and her team engaged in a criminal conspiracy to smear President Donald Trump.
And you know, when you and I get together, Mr. President, we always have to chat. Russiagate and what happened to you was, you know, the biggest criminal enterprise when you were running for president and when you became president. And I don't want to stew over the past, but I do think our viewers are really interested in John Durham, and they want to know what you think about John Durham. I mean, you and I talk about it as a former federal prosecutor, national security guy. You know, I think I know where John Durham is going. How do you think he's done, and where do you think he's going?
So I wish it were faster, because I think it could have been much faster. It would have been nice to have been done before the election, because they cheated viciously and crazily. What they did was so criminal. Would have been good if the voters would have known that, but it didn't matter because I won the election by a lot anyway. But so it didn't, honestly, I don't think that was the big defining moment. But he did come up with some really interesting stuff with the lawyers and Sussman and all of these people, number one. And I hear there's a lot coming. So I think the jury is out. We're going to see what happens. But what he's doing is one of the most important jobs being done right now in America.
What do you say to the American people that every time I'm on TV or every time, you know, you do a rally, I'm sure you see it on a much greater level than I ever will, sir, that, you know, where's John Durham? Where's John Durham? Do you have faith in him? And I tell people he's on the right path. It takes time.
That's right. You've said that. That makes me feel good, too, because you know a lot about that. But I will say that he came out with that initial statement and report, and it was big. And that felt like a foundation for very big things to come. So hopefully, I mean, who knows? We're gonna see. I wish it were faster. We're gonna see what happens. But it was a criminal. I call it the crime of the century.
Yeah.
It is really the crime of the century. And it changed everything, including the election. It changed everything. It was so disgusting what took place. And all of the things they said about me in Russia, it was them in Russia. It was them in Russia. They worked with Russia, and they would lie. They'd go up and say, I watched this Adam Schiff. I call him respectfully a watermelon head, because his head is shaped just like a watermelon. And I'd watch him go up to the microphone and act as though so hurt. He's so hurt, talking about Trump and Russia, when he knew it was a rigged deal, when he knew it was a fake. He knew it was fake. He was one of the people that made it up, along with Hillary Clinton and others.
Maybe they're looking at him.
And they'd go out there and they'd act as though they're so hurt by what took place. These are bad people. So I hope John Durham comes up, for the good of the country, comes up with everything that you know took place and that everybody know took place, because it has been exposed. It would be really nice to have it fully exposed. So we'll see what happens. I will give you a really good answer, hopefully, in a year from now.
I'll take your word for it, Mr. President.
Last year, he charged former Democratic National Committee and Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman with lying to the FBI, and weeks later he charged Russia analyst Igor Danchenko with lying to the Bureau. Both men have pleaded not guilty. The conspiracy against Donald Trump was hatched at the highest levels of the globalist empire. This blows Watergate out of the water and makes it look like child's play. Here you have associates of Hillary Clinton and allies of the law firm she was contracting to get dirt on Trump, using government channels to spy on him, and not just during the campaign, but after he became president. This whole fake Russia story was concocted and paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign, and fed to the FBI and the media by her attorneys and associates. The FBI, which should have been able to quickly prove the story was false, plodded on with its investigation and fed the frenzy.
If we got along with Russia, that wouldn't be so bad, would it? It would be really nice if we got along with Russia.
Wouldn't it be nice if we actually got along, as an example, with Russia?
Wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we actually got along with Russia?
Putin even sent me a present. Beautiful present.
I went to Russia with the Miss Universe pageant. He contacted me and was so nice. I spoke with President Putin, who could not have been nicer. What exactly is your relationship with Vladimir Putin? I have no relationship with Putin.
You have a relationship with Vladimir Putin?
I do have a relationship. I don't know Putin.
I don't know Putin.
Vladimir Putin, have you ever met the guy?
Tough guy. I met him once.
I don't hear you said for 3 years, 13, 14, and 15, that you did have a relationship with him.
What do you call a relationship?
President Donald Trump threatened the deep state globalist cabal because he could not be controlled. Trump kept talking about the simple fact that getting along with Russia could be a good thing for the United States and the world, while lauding his good relationship with Vladimir Putin. As with their relationship to Trump, the deep state cabal seemed to have a problem controlling Putin, who insists on such things as the sovereignty of Russia. According to Obama CIA Director John Brennan's account to Congress, as confirmed by the British paper The Guardian of April 13, 2017, the British began framing the narrative about Trump and Russia way back in 2015. The Guardian bragged about this back in the time when they thought that Trump could literally be driven quickly from office via a colour revolution inside the United States. They said that GCHQ, the British NSA, with assistance from the Netherlands, had been gathering information about Trump and Russia in late 2015. Brennan told Congress that the British were feeding information about Trump and Russia to the CIA, and they were demanding action, saying that if it did not take place, the special relationship was over. In the United States, Perkins Coie, the attorneys for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, and the DNC took over coordination of one side of this British campaign, beginning in early 2016, painting Donald Trump as a Manchurian candidate and a pawn of Vladimir Putin. They employed the DC opposition research firm Fusion GPS, the British MI6 operative Christopher Steele, and as the February 11th Durham filing and the Sussman indictment reveal, government contractors working under the supervision of Michael Sussman and Eurostar's Rodney Joffe to spy on the Trump presidential campaign. Using lawyers to run the disinformation campaign shielded Hillary Clinton, the Clinton campaign, and the DNC from direct liability. The work of this cabal was fed into the FBI from multiple channels, including Victoria Nuland at the State Department, and launched the equally bogus FBI Crossfire Hurricane investigation of President Trump and his associates, and the flailing 2-year Robert Mueller special counsel investigation. In the Sussman case, Durham is focused on the false claim shopped by Sussman to FBI General Counsel James Baker that a server at Trump Tower was directly connected to Alpha Bank, a Russian bank. That claim was completely fabricated by Sussman and his client Rodney Joffe, who used classified government contracts to mine for derogatory information about Trump. For his efforts in creating a derogatory narrative, Joffe hoped to get a job with the incoming Clinton administration as chief of cybersecurity. The primary purpose of the Mueller investigation was to continue the hate campaign against President Trump while covering up the prior illegal actions by Clinton, the Democratic National Committee, the U.S. Intelligence Community and Justice Department, the Senate Intelligence Committee, and the Obama White House against the nation's 45th president. We do not know where Durham is going or what he has. He speaks only through his indictments and court filings. While he may not bring criminal charges against the full conspiracy against Trump, the scope of his 3-year investigation of the origins of Russiagate may result in that conspiracy being detailed in the final report he will write about his investigations as special counsel. He has travelled to Great Britain to interview Christopher Steele and others. He has travelled to Italy concerning the mysterious British asset Joseph Mifsud, involved in setting up Trump volunteer George Papadopoulos for criminal prosecution. He also has Mifsud's cell phones.
The breaking news tonight, John Durham's investigation into the corrupt origins of the Russia probe, turning into a full-fledged criminal investigation. We're now learning it may have turned criminal based on what Mr. Durham and Attorney General Barr learned during a recent trip to Rome. The Daily Beast reports Durham and Barr were interested in what the Italian Secret Service knew about Joseph Mifsud, a professor from Malta who allegedly promised then-candidate Donald Trump's campaign advisor, George Papadopoulos, that he could deliver Russian dirt on Hillary Clinton.
This was an absolute nobody in terms of any connection whatsoever to Russia. He was clearly some sort of operative, and that's by the West, there to simply dangle or to basically try and sabotage me and by extension the campaign with this false information. He never offered anything. Simply over brunch at a London hotel, he tells me, "Hey, George, did you know that the Russians had Hillary Clinton's emails?" Now,
in the Sussman grand jury alone, John Durham has called 24 witnesses, including Sussman's former law partner and Democratic Party election fixer Mark Elias, and key players at the FBI, including former General Counsel and longtime James Comey confidant, James Baker, and Assistant Director for Counterintelligence Bill Priestap. Priestap was the one who authorized the Crossfire Hurricane investigation against Trump. He has interviewed Stephen Tragey, a former employee of British CIA asset Stefan Halper, and obtained numerous documents concerning Halper. Halper was deployed by the FBI to entrap and defame Trump campaign volunteers Carter Page, George Papadopoulos, and General Michael Flynn. Durham has obtained thousands of documents from the Clinton campaign from Christopher Steele and from Fusion GPS, along with documents from the Perkins Coie law firm. According to media reports, he also has interviewed Daniel Jones. He has interviewed over 24 FBI employees and many CIA employees as well. He has insisted, as against FBI Inspector General Michael Horowitz, that there was absolutely no appropriate reason for the FBI to begin its Crossfire Hurricane investigation of the Trump campaign. In addition to Sussman, Durham has also indicted Igor Danchenko, the former Brookings Institute employee mentioned by former Trump National Security Council Russia Desk Chair, and Trump impeachment trial traitor Fiona Hill. Hill claims to be able to mind-read Vladimir Putin, although almost all of her projections have proved to be stunningly inaccurate. Danchenko turns out to be the main source for Christopher Steele's pornographic and totally discredited dossier about Donald Trump, which was the foundation of Russiagate. Both Sussman and Danchenko have been charged by Durham with making material false statements to the FBI. In Sussman's case, the false statements involve the claim circulated by Hillary Clinton, her then chief foreign policy advisor and now Biden national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, and multiple media outlets about Trump and Alpha Bank. According to the indictment, Sussman brought these claims to the FBI General Counsel James Baker in September of 2016, claiming to be reporting them as a good citizen and not on behalf of any Perkins Coie client. In fact, both Sussman and his client, Rodney Joffe, had fabricated the claim, and Sussman's clients, the DNC and the Clinton campaign, were circulating it to destroy Donald Trump's candidacy. Sussman is a former high-level DOJ employee focused on cyber crimes, who was described by James Baker in congressional testimony as a friend. As with the Dirty Steele dossier, the fact that the FBI was investigating the bogus information created credibility for the fake claims, allowing widespread media dissemination. In the Alpha Bank case, Slate reported the information in the week prior to the 2016 presidential election, and both Clinton and Jake Sullivan used their Twitter accounts to amplify the fake news. Sussman also went to the CIA in February of 2017, claiming that Trump White House employees were using special Russian-made phones in the vicinity of the White House. Like the Alpha Bank claim, this one was also completely false. The critical takeaways from the February 11th Durham filings are: they used their classified contracts with the government to spy on Donald Trump, a fact the media and the intelligence community have attempted to portray for over 4 years as a Trump fabrication, inspired by Trump's paranoid imagination. It is significant to note that Michael Sussman also coordinated the fake story about the Russians hacking the DNC and Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta by hiring CrowdStrike, the computer security firm tied to the Atlantic Council's digital forensic lab, and numerous
You looking for me? Are you muted? I don't hear you.
Sorry, a little technical difficulty inside. What do you think so far? I mean, how much of this makes sense?
It makes sense. I mean, you never quite know what you hear at any given time these days. Who to believe anymore?
Well, that's what really this guy, MrTruthBomb, he does really great work. So let me see if this keeps going for us. I mean, I want to watch these sort of back to back here. It'll be a longer stream, but this sort of pulls it all together. These people say nothing's happening. Well, it's just a different example. See if we get our audio here. Does Rumble want to respond for me? Okay, come on, let's go. So there's a second piece to this. There's a let's see if you load for me. There's a second piece to this, which is that it's episode 2 that talks about what's actually happening right now. The pain is coming. So we'll cover that here once we get done with this. We'll let this come up. What if we go another try and forward it a second or two? Well, I think Rumble's having issues.
That's a possibility. We've had internet issues for the last 2 days.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on the web right now.
This one was also completely false. The critical takeaways from the February 11th Durham filings are: they used their classified contracts with the government to spy on Donald Trump, a fact the media and the intelligence community have attempted to portray for over 4 years as a Trump fabrication, inspired by Trump's paranoid imagination. It is significant to note that Michael Sussman also coordinated the fake story about the Russians hacking the DNC, and Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta by hiring CrowdStrike, the computer security firm tied to the Atlantic Council's digital forensic lab, and numerous.
Okay, come on, baby. Well, my computer will catch up with me here in a second. So
Okay.
this all ties together. Once the audio comes in, I'll fade back. This all ties together with the fact that, look, our entire system has got a corruption issue. It's in every part of the process. So the whole emergency action documents, the PADs, the presidential emergency action documents, are truly behind most of what's happening here. So our ability to remove the parts that aren't functioning, and yet also keep a functioning government, that is really, it's really what we're addressing. So, and like most times, we're trying to get through this system's functioning enough to get the information out. So I appreciate everybody's patience.
And
there we go. You can do it. Man, the Rumble servers are getting slammed. Well, it looks like I don't see any current issues with the down detector on the backside of the servers. Well, it just went up by one because I reported it. So I would say it qualify as a server issue. Let's see whether or not this is working on our side over here, because I was trying to load the other one as well. So this MrTruthBomb guy, he is got a whole bunch of content. The Devolution series, he does an excellent job recapping. Which one are we on, Durham? So John Durham, episode 1. See if we get a clean load. Come on. So the ability to come in and weed out the portions that need to be weeded out, making sure that everyone who is not a good guy is identified as a not good guy. Who gets paid, who doesn't, right?
Right.
So always follow the money. I can tell you, I think
they went back and forth with Bill Barr for a very long time.
Well, but people ask whether or not Barr was doing, if he was just disinformation or, what he's really capable of getting done. But it's very hard to walk into an organization where everyone knows that things have not been going well. Imagine if you went into a new company, you had a thought that you were going to go in and get this certain job. Well, you get the office, the corner office, you get all the things that you expect. And then someone walks in and says, oh, by the way, here's a bunch of information that now that you've seen it, you're complicit. Well, I mean, that's a life and death situation for many people, especially with the stakes that people play out here. So it doesn't look like Rumble's going to agree with us. So I think we'll cut this one into half an hour, see what we can get out, and we'll try and come back and do the second series. I would beseech you to go to MrTruthBomb 2 on Rumble. There's a lot of information there. This guy's a very excellent content provider. So Say goodnight, Brandy. Let's come back and I'll do a reboot and see if we can fix this.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Gandalph.
I appreciate everybody within the sound of my voice. If you haven't looked yourself in the mirror and told you you're fantastic today, you should get up and do it now. Okay, talk to you soon.